Alrighty, we're in. What's happening, everyone? Welcome back. It's a late one. Cheers to Jay and the boys for throwing anyone over that's just gone. A nice one for everyone to come and join the stream. Is everyone having a good day? I'm not drinking tonight. Although if the good lady wife's watching me and she wants to bring me one up, I'll definitely partake. And we're not getting on the books tonight either because that killed the webcam last time, and I don't want to do that one again. Let's just reframe that just a little bit. There we go, like that. Nope, like that. There we go. There we go. Right then. Although actually, there is one book that I've been doing a lot of reading this week, and you'll see why tomorrow, because I think that's quite pertinent to what's going on in the world at the moment, isn't it? Look how thick it is. It is a thick one. Right then. So we've gone with the title of Who is the Mole? Now I'd heard a young English goalkeeper was one of the people that was leaking stuff. And then I'd also heard last week that I think our captain was one of those. And also somebody else that was one of those that was talking to the press. Now I want to preface this by saying it's actually all English players that I'd heard, which makes a lot of sense actually. When you stack up that the English players are the ones that are closest to the local press, the English ones are the ones usually with agencies based over here, and English ones are, especially the English agencies, the bigger agencies especially, are ones that do a lot of firefighting and reputational protecting. Now, Marcus coming out and defending himself with Christian Falk yesterday was interesting. And it was interesting because I had heard that there was cliques. Is that the correct way of saying that even? Is it cliques or cliques? I feel like it's cliques. I do see Tom Eaton at his kids' training, but I haven't spoken to him for a while. Cliques. And I'd heard of someone, and it wasn't Tom, that was saying, yeah, there is a bit of a divide in the dressing room, and it does seem to be focusing all on the Portuguese side of stuff. So it was the Portuguese speaking players, and when you actually look into just how many Portuguese players we have, you can start reeling off tons of them. Now, is that an issue though? If some people are feeling excluded, yes. But United recent history-wise, had a very strong Spanish clique in the club. From the Spanish-speaking players, David De Gea, Herrera, Mata, Rojo. I believe Sanchez may have even become a part of that. There was a lot of Spanish-speaking players at Manchester United. Is it necessarily a negative thing that people of a certain culture in a foreign country want to get together and go for stuff to eat outside of the group? I'm going to suggest no. I think it's normal. You know, we have in the past had large French-speaking contingents, large Spanish-speaking contingents. I imagine the academy lads are a clique within the dressing room on the fact that they've got a shared history of all coming through the academy, and that some of these cliques will overlap. Paul Pogba might be French. He's also an academy product. Therefore, if there's a French-speaking clique, is he in that one and the academy player clique as well? Cliques are negative if there's distrust, and there's possibly distrust at United. But I don't think the distrust is because of the cliques. And to be honest, two of the most high-performing players that we've got at Manchester United are Bruno Fernandes and Cristiano Ronaldo. And if anyone's got a problem with how those two players have performed, then I would suggest you're the problem. Now, Christian Falk coming out and saying Marcus Rashford and Harry Maguire are the problem. The problem with that is two extremely easy targets for the moment because both of them are playing horrendously. One, it's more form. One, I think it's more pure ability based. We've seen Rashford perform in this style of system. I think Harry Maguire's possibly incapable of performing in a front foot facing football team that has a high line. I think it's a pure ability and technical skill set thing. Marcus is in rough form. Make no two bones about it. Now, I think what Falk did was look at the fact that, and I believe it is a fact, that there is a clique within the dressing room. And then I think he guessed at who it might be. And I think he guessed at people who are in poor form that have access to a lot of media. Now, I believe Marcus is fairly close to the likes of Henry Winter. I haven't seen Henry Winter saying anything. And tonight's little report from Disco Mirror, I'm just going to pull it up so I can actually read it word for word. There's a growing disbelief or growing belief in the dressing room that is inevitable. Ronaldo will replace Harry Maguire as captain. There's one line you go, oh, okay. Now, where could that have come from? Anywhere, I guess. That could literally be any player in the dressing room that could have said that. And you go, Harry Maguire is said to feel marginalised in terms of his authority within the dressing room, leading to him thinking some of the players are losing respect for him. Now, that's been said from Maguire's perspective. I'll keep reading. Maguire is reluctant to give up the captaincy for the rest of the season for fear of losing the captaincy on a permanent basis. Now, that to me is a pure briefing. Do I think Harry Maguire's got on the phone to Disco Mirror? No, I don't. Do I think someone from Harry Maguire's agency has? Yes, that would be my understanding and undertaking of this. Harry's probably spoke to his agent, and if he does feel marginalised and if he does feel reluctant to give up to captaincy, those are probably normal feelings. And then I think the agency's told, the Mirror. There's obviously stuff getting out. I actually do not believe that any player at Manchester United is speaking directly to the press and saying, print this. I do not believe that that's the case. Any of the players that I speak to, the stuff that I get told, there's more stuff that I get told than I will ever speak about because I've been asked not to speak about it. So I won't. Because if you do, they're never telling you anything again. So it's not worth it. I'll always allude to as much as I can without getting someone in trouble. I think that's my job as a Manchester United content creator, is to try and weed out the truth of what's going on. And if I've got an inside track on something that's counter to what's being out there, then I'll say it. If I've not, I'll tell you I've not. And quite often I've not. Sometimes I do. And I think in this particular instance, on most of these instances actually, it's agents that are doing the vast majority of the legwork in this. I think Harry's with, I think it's Triple S agency. Let me just do a quick Google while we're on. Yeah, he's with Triple S Sports and Entertainment. And they have got, let me just have a look. Hang on. The computer absolutely dies when I'm streaming. It goes well slow. Let me just pull them up and see what else they've got. And get involved in the comments as well. I will start reading out some of the comments when I get the opportunity. Jet Hope says, hey Steve, I briefly saw an article in the Mirror, interesting, about Nagelsmann being frustrated at Bayern. Hypothetically speaking, if Nagelsmann leaves, would I take him over Ten Hag? Thanks for the content. Yes, I just can't imagine that that's a realistic option for United, to be honest. Liam Dunn, thoughts on Khabib's interview on Ronaldo? I haven't seen it. He wants him to stay and he said he'll ask him to. Interesting. Chris Matthews in the comments, cheers for the super chat. A massive Canadian United supporter who follows the national team. I'd love to see Jonathan David as our number 9. I think he fits perfectly. If you've not seen that video, go check it out. It's a video I did a little bit earlier. Right, let me just have a quick look then. So Triple S fell off a little bit, actually. Not as many players as I thought they did have on their books. Butland, James Garner. Less big-name players than I anticipated them having, in all honesty. Wayne Rooney famously being one of Triple S's biggest clients. Wonder what's happened there. Is Disco Mirror anything to do with the balls in David Pritt's garden? No comment. What do I think of the team if the team starts performing and winning? Lots of this goes away. I am certain lots of this goes away. It's an unhappy camp at the moment, but we're also not playing good football either at the moment. Yeah, I think in terms of how information's getting leaked out, Rio said this the best. Here's how it goes down. The team sheet gets announced, or training happens, and you're in the reserves, or you're with the reserves, or the under-23s, and you're not part of the first team squad. Do you as a player get in the DMs of journalists? No, you don't. Do you as a player get on the phone to your agent? Now, you might not purposely seek out ringing your agent, but you might speak to your agent every day. They do a lot of commercial activities every day after they finish training, or they'll have charitable stuff that they have to do. Inevitably, there'll be 100 things they need to sign every single day. There might be letters they need to read. There might be contract negotiations going on. It might be something super mundane that they're just asking about the status of. They might be buying a new fucking dog, and their agent's been involved in sorting that out. And it might just be something in passing where they say, do you know what? I was with the reserves today, or do you know what? I'm not in the squad again at weekend. This is where an agent starts to do their job. And Fergie said it the best in his autobiography, I think it was. He goes, quite often, transfer rumours and all those sorts of things that you see the journalists asking questions on, the journalists have been asked by an agent to plant these things there. It happens. Mohammed says Bruno does not even come close to what Ronaldo is to United. Stop this Bruno shit. He's a good player, not more than that. I'm talking about Bruno's numbers because they're literally unprecedented. Bruno's numbers at Manchester United, up until a couple of months and maybe this season, Bruno was irreproachable at Manchester United. He had been performing. What other player had put in Bruno's level of consistent performances? I'll challenge you to answer me that, because I'll tell you no. No one has. Now, if there's a Portuguese clique and it's centred around Ronaldo and Bruno, Dalot, who's recently come into the team, and Tellers, who finds himself regularly now in the starting 11, then you go, okay. Now, Fred would be part of that as a Portuguese-speaking Brazilian. And I don't necessarily think you would put Fred in there with the high performers. I'm not even sure Dalot and Tellers necessarily belong in there, to be honest. But it's easy to understand the power dynamics at the club. And if Harry Maguire feels like he's losing the dressing room, well, he fucking should do. And I'll put it back on Harry Maguire's toes and say, do you know why people might be losing respect for you in the dressing room? It's because there's no fucking accountability for your own mistakes. You're walking out to give interviews, to cuss out the forwards when you're causing us to not have clean sheets with your shite defending and shite positioning, and not coming out and acknowledging that. That interview post-Burnley pissed me off. I can't imagine being a footballer in Manchester, anyway, but I can't imagine being a footballer in the Manchester United dressing room that has to be led by this fucking clown. When he comes into the dressing room after giving, and I'll call him a clown based on that interview, not on anything else. That interview was fucking clown worthy. When he walks back into the dressing room, if we've just seen that on the telly as players, I'm like, excuse me, can I have a fucking word with you? You might want to go and watch a fucking replay of that goal. Before you start calling anybody out, you need to walk out there and say, do you know what? I fucked up. As Manchester United captain, I demand better. As a team, we've got to create more. But that goal was on me, and I'll fix it next week. Do you know how much respect people would have got? Do you know how much respect people would have had for you for coming out and owning your mistake? But instead you didn't. You go, oh, forwards got to score more. 3 fucking times. 3 times you say they've got it. 3 times you come out and call the forwards. So let me just find up the exact quote again, because I don't want to get it wrong. Maguire said to feel marginalised in terms of his authority within the dressing room, leading him to think some of the players are losing respect for him. They're losing respect for you because you're not showing things worthy of respect. Your performances are not worthy of respect at the moment, and you should be dropped, let alone lose the captaincy. Manchester United captain should be irreproachable. The first thing you're supposed to do is just steam in there and put in 8 out of 10s week in, week out like it ain't shit. And then you come out and you defend the players, you uplift the players, you lead the players. You don't come out when you're the one that's made a fucking massive schoolboy clanger costing us 2 points in a game, come out and start cussing out the other players in the team. If you want them to follow you, you've got to give them something to follow. If you're trying to get a player to acknowledge a mistake he's made in a game and fix up, you have to acknowledge the mistakes that you've made in the game and fix up. When you play a ball into McTominay and it fucking bounces off his shin, and he just goes, eh. And you can't go, oi, fucking get a grip of that ball. Standards. He's going to go, fuck you, don't tell me what to do. Do you see you're defending? But if you own it, you come out and you say, as Manchester United captain, that's below the standard that we set for ourselves. And I set for myself. And I will be better. Then at least everyone in the dressing room goes, well, at least he knows. And okay, yeah, there's a standard here. But when you're not acknowledging your own failures, he feels marginalised in terms of his authority within the dressing room. You fucking should. You absolutely should. You absolutely should. And he's reluctant to give up the captaincy. Honestly, if the captaincy means more to you than your performance, are you reluctant to fucking play good? Put better... Do you know what? He should come out and say, do you know what? Captaincy was a nice thing, but ultimately I'm here to perform at the highest level. And if that means that someone else is wearing a captain's armband, then I'll do my best to support them and I'll put the best fucking performance in that I'm able to do so. It's called fucking ownership. Own it. Don't be like, no, don't take the captain's armband off me. I like it. I like being the captain. What, are you fucking 7? You're a highly paid professional footballer. Fucking act like it. Menget and Varane says Jed should be starting next season under Ten Hag as manager. Interesting. Ronaldo, Bruno, Telles, Fred and Delo all speak Portuguese. So does Lindelof. Of course, yeah, I don't know if he speaks it fluently, but yeah, maybe he's part of that as well. Maguire out here thinking he's Triple H. Bruno tweeted a picture 50 minutes ago. Oh, where's that one? Just lost that one. Where's that gone? What was that about Maguire? Bruno. What's Bruno done? Maguire between Bay and Varane saying he feels safe between them. Comments are going a little bit fast. It's causing everything to slow down. Apologies. Would a midfield trio of Bruno, Garner, Kamara, /Hydara, /Rice in a dogleg 3 work like Ollie's reign? I think Jimmy needs blooding in. Not immediately starting. I didn't say he was ready to start. I said he was ready to be given a chance. And the chance could mean you start the League Cup games, you get 20 minutes in the league. I think having him as a starter might be a bit giddy at the moment. Now, he might come in and do it. He might. But I think it's unlikely. I think you've got to now take him back out of Forest at the end of the season, let him finish what he's doing, because he's doing well with the season. Find a proper number 8. Now, I actually think McTominay could be a box-to-box number 8. If you... To be honest, fucking Tielemans is available on a free. I'd just get Tielemans. Why are we fucking about? You know what I mean? Get a number 6. You can get Kamara and Tielemans in for free. For free. No money down. No buy now, pay later. No interest-free credit. Fucking free. F-R-E-E. Free. And you can't say fairer than that. Tielemans, Kamara. Actually, I'm just chatting shit there, aren't I? Because Tielemans isn't a free yet. Oh, do you know what? If you were a patient motherfucker, you can get him next summer for free. Or you can get him this summer by fucking dangling a fucking bit of cheese and a chocolate bar in front of Leicester and getting him. It'll be cheap. It won't be free. But either way, for probably 30 million, you can bring in Kamara and Tielemans. That's as good as free now. Even if it's not technically free. And then you could probably bring in some other players. I actually think we need 5. I actually think you need 5. Tielemans is worth 235 million minimum. Okay. I'm assuming it means McTominay isn't intelligent. He's good running forward sometimes, doesn't put his head up to make a good pass. I think he lacks a little bit of ability. Liam Sheesby says Kamara, Tielemans free. Yeah, Neves and Jonathan David paid for, Garner led Williams back. We'd look competent again. I wouldn't mind. Was it Louis that said 15 places in the first team, 10 are going to the academy? That crazy Dutch bastard might have been onto something. That might be the move. That might not have been the exact numbers he was quoting. If Forrest could go up, could you loan him out again? You could do, potentially, yeah. I'm assuming the wife's not watching because I haven't had a fucking rum come up the stairs. That's a good target if Pogba stays, says Yash. I don't think look, let's be honest with ourselves, man. Pogba's going. Steve McGuinness keeps commenting Declan Rice is a turncoat. Is he? Have you heard him speak? Does he sound Irish to you? I think just because he was eligible for both doesn't mean that was it. Didn't Rio disagree with you about loading the squad with academy players? Yeah, he's allowed to, and I'm allowed to disagree with him. I was talking to Jay about this today. I've disagreed with stuff he said about fucking. Sean says, "Get your own, you lazy twat." All right, if I go downstairs to get my own drink, this is just going to be an empty screen for 5 minutes. Do you want that? I'm trying to do you lot a favour here. I've disagreed with stuff Rio's fucking played in. I will disagree with him. And he might be right, and I might be right. At some point, he was an academy player someone took a chance on, and they were right, because he was fucking class. Will says, would I take Neves and Tillman less than Rice combined? Yes, totally. Rice played for us and kissed the badge like it was his life. Oh, I didn't know that. Why do I think Neves hasn't been picked up by any of the big clubs? I honestly don't know, because I think he's everything that you would need. Yash says Bellingham is expensive, but I'd rather buy him and loan him back for a year. He's going to cost 100 million. Alex says our squad is too big. City's squad is 22 players. Ours is about 28, 29. I think you'll find City squad's probably bigger than that, actually. If we look at how many players City have used this year, and then you look at how many United have used, and then you look how many of ours are actually usable. You've got Matic, Mata, Phil Jones, who between them don't get one game a month. City have used 25 players this season, of which some of them have had 6 minutes. Liam Delap, James McAtee, etc. But if you look at their first sort of 20, because actually in their first 20, apart from Jack Steffen, everyone's played a fairly decent number of games, and you're talking about Fernandinho. He's played 13 games. Kyle Walker played 15 games. Ederson 24, Laporte 20, Diaz 22. Nathan Ake's played 9. Zinchenko's played 8. Mahrez has played 18. Jesus has played 19. Grealish has played 17. Sterling's played 21. John Stones played 8. You look at what their backup is. The academy players that they've been bringing in. James McAtee played 19 minutes. I used to play with his dad. I used to play rugby with his dad, actually. His dad was a fucking animal, so if he's anything like him, we're in trouble, because he was fucking mega hard. Liam Delap, he's played 9 minutes again. But they're 19, aren't they? They're older. They're not 17, 16. Phil Foden, obviously become a mainstay in the team now. When you look at the age profile of the team, it's a lot of 26, 27, 28-year-olds in that team. Some really good age profiles in the team. And you look at United, you just think, fuck me, we're all over the show. All over the show, man. Trying to read these, they're going a bit too fast. Can we get Mengi back to replace Slabhead? Let him get his experience in the Championship. How would I feel if Ronaldo was our main striker next season? He definitely needs someone alongside him, don't we? Seamus says Tielemans and Kamara in the summer along with Ten Hag. Throwing a striker, I'd be happy. If the board was serious Would they go get Overmars along with Ten Hag? Well, Overmars has just resigned, hasn't he, for being a little bit trigger happy on the old text. I think he was harassing someone in the text, so maybe we don't sign him up just yet. Who would be my ideal Ronaldo replacement this year or next? Literally did a video on it, but 4 or 5 hours ago. Go check it out. Should we sign Joe Felix in the summer? No. The last thing United need is Overmars, says Andrew. Loved it, lost it, sorry. We really can't score from a corner, can we? It's mad. It is a bit mad, actually. Mossab says, love the piece on David Stee. Thoughts on Darwin Núñez? We're going to do one on Darwin Núñez as well, because Darwin's got similar sorts of numbers in terms of, and when I talk about numbers, the pair of them have got, frankly, ridiculous kinds of numbers. Benjamin Isaacson with a super chat, and he says, Kamara free, Mars Rui free, Tielemans 35 to 40, David maybe 50, and Kunku. You're not signing David. Is it David or David? It's got to be David, and he's Canadian. And Kunku 50, Vardiol maybe 30. That's 6 players for around 180. I'll find what I had, because we were going to do a video on it. I think it's probably going to be next week now, if I can figure out where I've put it. Just trying to search for a keyword in my notes here. So what I was looking at, it was promoting, basically I'll give you the rough cuts of it, but what we'll do is we'll show you how this squad would work, how it would be adaptable, maybe what a League Cup team would look like for it and everything like that. So I was looking at spending about 185 million. 175 to 185 million. So right back, I was going to look at bringing in Selic. I was looking at Akanji coming in at centre half. It's probably going to cost you 100 million for those two. Kamara in on a free. Tillman for 25-ish. And then I've got, because I still think United are capable of signing some big names. And I still think there's a desire from the club to sign big names. And if Haaland's release fee is 60 million, try and get Haaland. Now, if Haaland's got his eyes set on going somewhere else, because he could theoretically be going City this summer, yeah, I'd bring David in and he'd probably be 45 to 50 million. And that would give you 170 to 185 million outlay. You could probably bring in 50 million by offloading. A lot of these are going to be free, but Pogba, Henderson, Ronaldo, Cavani, Lingard, Pereira, Tuanzebe, Van der Beek, Matic, and Mata. You're probably getting it somewhere in the region of 50 million across those 10 players. I'd love to be able to offload Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Shaw, and Delo. I don't think you will. I think they'll be just kept around. And then I would promote Hannibal, Garner, Mengi, Bernard, Laird, Williams, Alanga, and McNeil. McNeil would obviously hover amongst the squads and feature very, very, very briefly. And then that would give you, defensive depth of Selic, Varane, Kanji, Tellez, Delo, Maguire, Laird, Lindelof, Bernard, Mengi, and Williams. Midfield depth of Kamara, McTominay, Fred as backups. Bruno, Tielemans, Hannibal, and Garner. Solid bit of numbers there, I would imagine. Was that 7 players for your midfield free? I like that. And then 6 players to play up front, which would be Sancho, Haaland, Rashford, Alanga, McNeil, and then Palestri / Ahmad, which is 6 or 7 players, depending on if one of those is going out to try and develop again. That would be what I would be kind of looking at in terms of a squad. I think that would be doable, to be honest. Have we just got rid of our... Oh, hang on. What? Thomas says, do I think Williams could come back and fight for a place at fullback? Yes. I don't think the barrier's that high at the moment. Am I done with Wan-Bissaka? If we're going to be a possession-based team that plays on the transition and looks to attack quickly, yes. Ten Hag or Conte, it's not even a question for me. It's not even a question. Lee Taylor with a super chat says, club will want to see how Van der Beek gets on at Everton. Yeah, undoubtedly. And he started well, and Lampard's come out and had some really good things to say about him. So, I'm pleased for him. If he proves himself, then Manchester United got a hell of a player next season. I don't know why people think that I've got anything against him. I've got 0 against him. All I've said here is I didn't think he had the sort of impact people were creaming themselves over. And I actually don't think he had that great a game for Everton last week. I know he was man of the match, but when you actually look into his numbers, McTominay actually had a better game last weekend than he did, but no one's prepared to have that conversation. Hisham says, thoughts about Karim Adeyemi. RB connection, fits the template of first, second contract, classy player who's long been touted as Haaland replacement for Dortmund. Not yet, I don't think. I might be wrong on that, but I just don't think not yet. I think you got to go with a little bit more experience, and I think that's probably someone like Jonathan David at the moment. But there's others. Darwin Núñez might be another one to look at. Josh saying, hey, hope you're well. Have you heard about United coming to Melbourne in the off-season? Hopefully see you down here for a pint. No, I've heard... Actually, everything's kind of stacking up like it might be that way. There's some talk that they're going to be going to Thailand and some talk that they might be going over that side. So maybe. I don't know what the movements are yet. Things are going to depend on the dates. We might be going away with the football team. So if we there's a potential opportunity for us to go and play in Dubai, providing that the sponsor comes through. So if that happens, I'll be doing that. And obviously I've got a baby. I can't just fuck off for the entire summer. As fun as that would definitely be. Why does Ronaldo train more than other players? Don't understand how he trains longer than these 20-year-olds and why he is not the captain. I don't really agree with giving players the captaincy when they first walk in. Maybe Ronaldo's different in that sense. But why does he train more than other players? Because he wants it more than other players, and he's genuinely dedicated to his craft, which is not something you can say about every single player at his football club. I think Ronaldo's an example. I think Ronaldo's an example to lots of players in terms of what you can go and do and what you can achieve. It's something I've had a belief on for a while. Obviously, my background in sport, rugby league, and little bit of knowledge on MMA in the grand scheme of things. And when I see how hard people are training in both of those sports compared to football, it's fucking laughable. Honestly, it's absolutely laughable. Rugby league would train for 4 or 5 hours a day. MMA might train for anywhere up to 6-7 hours a day. Footballers are training for 1-2 hours a day. And I think the recovery thing is a factor for sure. The travel is a factor. The sleep is a factor. And no sport travels as frequently as football. Maybe they do in America, but even them, I think that they stay in one city for extended, like basketball, they stay in one city for an extended period of time before they go back. But even if you look how hard like Michael Jordan used to train at the Bulls, he would have like breakfast club and then go to training after they'd done like an hour's fucking pickup game in his house having breakfast. I think the work capacity is there for footballers to train a lot fucking harder than they do. A lot harder than they do. And I'm hoping at some point I get the opportunity to prove that a little bit. With Paddock at the level that we're at, obviously. MMA fighters spar hard once a week. Footballers play 90 minutes 2-3 times a week, though, Steve. Do you think that's all they're doing? Mate, honestly, we should go and follow Brendan or Mokayev for a week and you see what they're doing. From the top of my head, a normal day for Brendan is going to look like get up around 9-ish, get himself to the gym for about 10-ish. He's got keys, so he lets himself in. When he's in Manchester, this is what it looks like at least anyway. He'll be at the boxing club down in Moss Side, and he'll do bag work, pad work, probably anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. He might do a bit of skipping, might do a little bit of conditioning while he's there, maybe some plyometric stuff. And then he'll probably go to the track. He'll go to the track, depending on what he's doing. If he's doing steady state stuff, he might just do laps, maybe an hour. He might go and do some sprints. The sprint stuff that he does is absolutely fucking ridiculous. After that, he'll probably go and eat, relax a little bit. Then he might come back, do some weights. Then they're typically getting involved in live drill stuff, let's say somewhere like ASW, and they'll probably roll for maybe up to 2 hours. They might do some technical wrestling, they might do some submission wrestling, and they'll probably do that, like I said, for a couple of hours, and then Brendan typically goes and does yoga, or something along those lines to finish off. Like, it's his life. He's not doing anything sociable. He's just getting up, fueling, training, and just fucking absolutely smashing it. And the guy's so fucking fit, it's unreal. Mokiev will do a bit similar. He might wrestle a little bit more. But like from what I see the MMA fighters doing, I think especially when you think of the money involved. Now the money involved doesn't mean that you automatically can just handle more than MMA fighters who are going to getting paid 50 grand a fight. Of course it doesn't. But what it means is you can pay for physiotherapists, physical therapists, better nutrition, live-in chefs, people that can actually come in and make a difference to your nutrition regime. So the money means, like, honestly, if one of my mates was a professional footballer, I would be saying, look, fucking, you need to have a fucking live-in chef that does all of your meals, that are agreed with a nutritionist. For most footballers, like for normal dickheads like us lot, right? We're probably overeating a little bit too much. We're probably having too many fizzy drinks, a beer too many, a pizza too many a week, right? So for most of us, it's about getting healthier in terms of maybe restricting the calories, maybe getting a bit more variety in our diet, maybe eating a little bit more veg or something like that. For most professional athletes, they struggle to actually get in enough calories because that's where you fall down. The recovery is the fuel. You've got to fuel correctly. Most players, even at our level, we're paddock, right? Most fucking players are under-fueled, under-recovered. They're not having enough protein. They're not having enough some of that stuff. If you can get the nutrition nailed and you can get your sleep nailed, that goes a hell of a long way for your body being able to recover to what it needs to do. Then on top of that, you can throw in ice baths or cryotherapy. You can have a fucking daily massage. I can remember the first thing I ever saw about massage was Lennox Lewis, who's a fucking absolute house of a human being, having a daily massage every single day. And I thought, that's weird. But then you understand why he's doing it. You go, oh, there's a hell of a lot to be said for it. I imagine Ronaldo's getting a daily massage. I imagine Ronaldo's got a live-in chef that's just going, bosh, here's what you're eating today. And I bet it's to the fucking gram for someone like Ronaldo, who's meticulous in his preparation. Andy says, yeah, even Rio used to train extra. Why's United come to this lack of wanting it? So frustrating. Yeah. Well, there you go. Paul Hurd, check out Pro Cycling for complete training and commitment. Oh my God, yes. Cyclists put themselves through literal torture. Like Olympians like Sir Steve Redgrave, rowing. He would row so hard every day that his body got used to that workload and that volume. And he would have crash mat to the side of the rowing machine. And on one side, he would have a washing up bowl. And he would throw up into the washing up bowl to his left or right, whichever way it was. And on the other side, there'd be a crash mat for when he collapsed to go that way. And footballers do an hour and a half of fucking drills a day. Fucking stop it. Absolutely stop it. There's so much more than you can do. AU says, my brother's barber cuts Ronaldo's hair. He has a physio that lives with him and doesn't let him sit in a chair for longer than 30 minutes. He makes him get up and jog on the spot. Now, even if that's a lie, I can fucking believe it. Like literally there's nothing you could tell me about Ronaldo that I wouldn't believe. You could tell me he sleeps in pink fucking goo with UV lights on it. I'd be like, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I could see him doing that. Why does City and Barcelona player recover faster from injuries? I'm not getting involved in that. Damien says, I can't get how these guys don't have the accountability and common sense to see that what endurance climbers, etc. are doing. Do I know any footballers who train BJJ? I believe Wes Brown did, or he did judo or something along those lines. Stephen, do you sleep in glue? I'd sleep in glue. Goo. Yash says, Stephen, given that they're supposed to be elite athletes getting muscle injuries, etc., can we claim that they're just under-recovered and not overtrained? Probably, yeah. Jampot, don't forget UFC fighters are broke, apart from the headliners, being robbed by Dana White and aren't guaranteed enough to feed their families and they train hard. Yeah. Someone's put, get involved in that, Steve. I don't know what that means. Oh, right, yeah. I do know. I remembered. Tyler says, I reckon Ronaldo sleeps in a sauna. Ronaldo is a purple belt in BJJ. Is he, though? I can't imagine Ronaldo trains BJJ. And if he does, I bet you can't fucking heel hook him. Chris Smalling did judo. Oh, did he know? Loki says, look how hard elite military units train and then tell me footballers have it hard. Trust me. Notch says, Italian clubs pay more attention to the science, nutrition and fitness 30 years ago than some clubs do now. Honestly, I think it's terrifying. Rugby league's always had a big thing in terms of nutrition and performance because of the impact that being faster and stronger has always had in rugby league. And I think that's one thing to always look at. Bit late to the stream, but bang on about Maguire. Keno would have ate him alive, says Mozfather. Sorry, this chat's going a bit mental for us here at a minute. MMA's life and death. Football is just a kickabout, says NWA Chopper. Yeah, but if it's your profession and you want to excel at it, I don't understand why you wouldn't go to the lengths, Christian. Literally, if you've got one career, and if I could say to any young footballer, and in fact there is one young footballer I know at the moment who is trying to replicate what Ronaldo does, and he's getting rewarded for it, and fair play to him, because that's what you should be doing. You've got one career, what are you going to do? You're going to spend it all on fucking Instagram? Or are you going to go, do you know what? No, I'm going to go do this. And I'm going to go and get jacked. And I'm going to go try to learn everything that I can do. Yeah, look at Zlatan. Like, look at these players that you go, oh, they train constantly and they train really hard. Ronaldo, Zlatan, they're both about to kiss 40 on the mouth. And they're still absolutely putting up numbers. James McCormack says, didn't Evra say Juve's behind the scenes diet and advice helped prolong his career? Even Lukaku said that when he got to Italy. Ross says, bet Haaland trains a lot. Looks like it, doesn't he? Who do I support in rugby league? Salford. Zlatan's 41. Fucking hell, I thought he was just about to turn 40. 41. Behave yourself. Do I think Messi isn't training enough? I think Messi trains a lot. Rugby is packed with roids, even in youth levels, says Eddie Big Balls. Joe says, Steve, do you think David De Gea is similar to Wan-Bissaka in the sense that his overall style is more reactive and defensive, and is stronger than his offensive one, like his distribution? Yeah, I think that'd be pretty fair and pretty accurate, I would say. Was I a pro rugby player? I did get paid to play, but it was like £30. And that was at Salford, at Keighley, and at Doncaster. So I had 4 years really where I was an academy player. I never played first team. The highest I played was like National League 3, which is like League 2 kind of level. Do I think if it's the end of Maguire at United, if he's stripped to the captaincy? No, I don't think so, Juan says, I appreciate your content, especially these long sessions and speaking to everyone on mental health. Keep it up. You're appreciated. Thank you. Steve, so your choice, who is the captain for United going forward? See, it's almost, I'm not saying I agree with Maguire being captain, but I understand, because there was an abject lack of options, and that's the problem. Manchester United used to be absolutely littered with winners. Now think about this, right? Club captain was Gary Neville. Gary Neville was out for ages. So who wore the armband for the Champions League final in 2008? Rio did. But if Wayne Rooney had it, would it have been weird? No, because Wayne Rooney eventually became Manchester United captain. If Paul Scholes or Ryan Giggs would have had it, would that have been weird? Absolutely not, no. Would it be weird if Paddy Evra had it? Well, no, because Evra also spent an extended period of time wearing the captain's armband. Well, what about Vidic? Well, actually, Vidic did become club captain after a bit. Well, what about Van der Sar? Van der Sar would have made a fucking fantastic captain. So there's only, in that starting 11, I mean, I think Ronaldo has worn the captain's armband for United, but the only people that you might not have given the captain's armband to would have been Owen Hargreaves, Wes Brown, and Tevez. Outside of that, the other 8 people who started would have been fine as captains. Whereas now you go, I mean, Owen Hargreaves might have been a better captain than Harry Maguire would have been. But Harry Maguire's the club captain. I should do a video on Derby County. Well, I kind of did one on Rooney. Carrick may be the only one. Yeah, I mean, Carrick wore the armband actually in that game. not in that game, but he's wore the captain's armband. Do I ever see us building a new stadium? I actually hope not, to be honest. Michael says, no, Hargreaves wouldn't have been a better captain. Why wouldn't he have been? At the time that we won the Champions League, he'd been here about the same amount of time that Maguire had been here when he was made captain. So why wouldn't he have been? And he also won the double, by the way. Benjamin says, how many players do you realistically think we will bring in? I don't think it'll be 5 that we need. Am I in a position to make a podcast with Rooney? I don't have Rooney's phone number. I mean, if someone is, maybe they could. It's not about longevity, says Michael. Hargreaves wasn't a leader. And Maguire is. Maguire had literally been captain 3 times in his entire career before he wore the armband for Manchester United. Do you know when those 3 occasions were? One was in the EFL Cup for Leicester because Morgan and Schmeichel were on the bench, and the other 2 times were for Hull. No further questions. Dwayne says, although it's an unpopular opinion, I think McTominay would be a better captain than Maguire, although McTominay should be a squad level player. There might be some truth in all of that, like you just said. I wouldn't build a new stadium, but fix the issues and refresh it. I would. Matthew says, does anyone know the story about if Atletico have a proper COVID outbreak? I actually don't know what the crack is with that, to be honest. I did see that they're waiting for something. Jeremy says, I've got a question about this clique thing. Arguments show that they aren't happy with standards and show that they care. No, they shouldn't be happy when we win this stops. There might be an element to that. But I also think that there's an element that these players don't know how to accept the criticism. Obviously, Rio mentioned it last week on the podcast. Him and Rooney used to go at each other. He used to absolutely hammer him. And they never took it badly and they never took it personally. And we're like, oh, what are you talking to me like that for? Hargreaves was a decent right back. Hargreaves was a great player for United. Literally, Hargreaves was a great player for United. And he was sensational the year that we won that league. Why didn't I go to the Rooney premiere? I wasn't invited. Did I dope when playing rugby? If I can say legally. No, I didn't. Maybe I should have done. Because everyone went away for the summer at 16 and came back with fucking traps. How the fucking hell did you get them? I'm eating chicken 5 times a day. Is the chicken doing fucking trenbolone? What's going on here? No, I didn't. If you look at fucking photos of me, up until even in my 20s, you'll see I just fucking couldn't put on any sort of size, which is hilarious now. Andy says, Bruno can't be a captain for one, he's too emotional. Do you know what? I actually think Bruno is a very emotional player, Jacob says, what I said about the academy is true. We can't buy our way to success and we need a structure. Every £100 million signing other than Mbappe has been a flop. Yeah, I agree on that. And here's the thing, right? If you've got 15 first-team players, they're going to cost a lot of money. I'm talking 15 first-team players. Listen to what I'm saying, first-team players. Not 15 players who are in the first team, 15 first-team Manchester United players. That'll cost a lot of money, both in transfer fees and wages. And you prop that up with your academy, because then it's a self-perpetuating prophecy. You give those players the opportunity, and if they're good enough, you've just saved yourself 40, 50 million pounds. And if they're not good enough, you fucking move them on, and you give another kid an opportunity. By the time they're 18, 19, you've just got year after year after year of 4 or 5 players coming into the fold, and we'll find out whether they're good enough. We might find out in a year and a half's time that Alanga ain't good enough. But you know what? For right now, he is. So keep him in the team. He's saving us money. And this isn't a money-saving exercise. This is a money allocation exercise. Rather than us having to spend 30, 40 million pound for that sort of backup player, put your fucking academy players in there. And then when you're next talking to the wonder kid, an Mbappe at 16 or a Pogba at 16, and you're saying, we'll give you minutes. And not every club can promise you that. And that's how you start getting those wonder kids coming in at 16. They go, yeah, I'm going, look at Dortmund right now. Fucking, there you go. Dortmund are going, do you know what? Yeah, we'll find those wonder kids and we'll give them game time. And they'll come to us because they know that they get game time. And they won't go to the likes of Chelsea or Real Madrid initially because they won't get that game time. And before you know it, your 7, 8, 12 million pound buys are worth 100 million. And then you've got an option. Do we sell them and make a profit on them? Well, no, because United shouldn't be a selling club. We play the fuck out of them and win everything. That's what we should do. And accumulate more of them. But, you know, there's no one with any sort of fucking ambition at this football club. When am I going to trim my beard? I missed an appointment last week. I'll be going back next week, probably. Mehdi says, you basically summarised what Sir Alex was doing during his time with the Makedas, etc. Yeah, maybe. Makeda was useful, then he wasn't useful, and he was fucked off. If Ashley Young stayed till the end of the season, Bruno would be captain. Do I agree? What? I don't know about that, like. Any world champions in hockey? You fucking what, mate? Right, do me a favour. Like the video. Right now, just stop what you're doing. Like the fucking video. There's like 4,000 of you watching and we've got like 600 likes. It's fucking pathetic. Alex says, all the way from Pennsylvania here. Love the content. Keep up the great work. Thank you, our kid. I really believe that's why we lost Bellingham, Steve, says Reese. You might have a massive point in that. That might literally be what happened here with Bellingham. He was like, well, Dortmund have promised me minutes and United have promised me the fucking League Cup if we get through the next round. Why haven't we bought the entire scouting department? Again, it's not necessarily about the scouting department. Can you convince them that they're going to get the minutes? If you've got 15 first-team players and then 10 academy products, every single season, that's the makeup of your squad. You can maybe go one over it or under it, but if that's the makeup of your squad, sorted. Am I hoping to come to Scotland to watch Levitt and Ahmad at any time? I would love to be honest. It's not that much on a train, and it's pretty easy to do. But the timing of everything at the moment, the good thing is Paddock season is at most 6 games away from finishing. So I might be a bit freer over weekends in 6 weeks' time, providing everything goes to plan. Best case scenario, bring in Van der Sar as CEO and move Arnold to CFO. Possible. I don't know if that's likely or not. I think people are very attached to their titles, aren't they? How can Ralph not see that our best option at the back is Bailey and Varane? Because Bay doesn't stay fit. You know, as much as I like him, and I think he is good, he's just, he can't stay fit. Jess says, do I think De La Salle will drop points? At the moment, I don't know, to be honest. I'd love to say they will. They've got a tricky game against Salford coming up. That's who's going for the title with us. We're playing against Mostard next week. If they beat us and they also drop points, they're in the mix for it. So it's a bit of a freeway tussle at the moment. All we can do is win our games. And whatever happens in the other ones, happens in the other ones. And look, if we don't win the league this year, will I be disappointed? Yeah, because I want to fucking win. And if we don't win the cup, I'll be disappointed. Yeah, because I want to fucking win. But ultimately, if what we've done this season is come second in our first ever season, is the Mostyn game at Nichols? I will confirm the location of that game tomorrow, but it will not be at Nichols, if you're catching what I'm throwing. And Manchester United Clips has said any updates on Paddock to Droylsden. I will update you tomorrow. We will be going back to Droylsden. It's just a matter of once. Here's the literal top and bottom of it. There is a stadium safety certificate issue. Obviously, you can't operate a stadium without a safety certificate. So if the certificate gets passed, then yes, we'll be back at Droylsden. If it's not, then it'll just be a matter of time before we're back at Droylsden. Janine's been sending me some screenshots here of people's super chats, but I think my phone's gonna die and it's not letting me open them up on here because there's too much going on. If we don't win the league this year, we don't win the league, and I'll be fucking gutted. Of course I will. Like, I think the lads have worked really hard, and I think we deserve it. I think we've played some sensational football. We've made a couple of mistakes, but I'm really, really happy with the progress that the team's making. I would love us to have a title with that, because I think that would be something that I feel like we've worked for. With where do we go next? There is an application going in for the next level. And we'll have to wait and see, won't it? It might be... We're currently level 13. Can I see Carrick in the Championship? No. Jesus Christ, you're talking hundreds of millions for that to happen. Come on, man, be realistic. Where we're about to move, we might not move to level 12. Because of the way the leagues work around here and where you get placed, we might have a lateral move to level 13. But from that lateral move, theoretically, there would be technically ground gradings and ability and winning aside, we could literally go from that level at level 13 all the way up to the Premier League then, with no stopping, except the fact that we clearly would stop at some point. But theoretically, at least, we would then be on the ladder. Where we are now, we have to apply to get to the next level, but they've just reintroduced automatic promotions to level 10, which is North West Counties, which is where you get into the FA Cup. And Vernon has just said, do you see Paddock playing in the FA Cup? It is my stated goal that I will be manager until I've took us to the FA Cup. The season I take us to the FA Cup, I will make a decision on whether or not I'm staying on or not. But long term, I would see myself moving into a different role. One of the chats here was from Josh. Owen Hargreaves was brilliant, could do with a player of his quality at CDM now. Also, one of the few decent pundits. Could hit a free kick and all. Not like we can do that. Do we ever see Angel Gomez making it in the Premier League? Yes, I think one day. I don't think he'll stay in France forever. First round proper, qualifying rounds don't count. They fucking absolutely count. There'll be a FA Cup badge on my arm, or well, at least the players' arms. So that's the one. It definitely counts. Getting to the first round proper is mental and probably unachievable from this level. You look how many teams from level 10, 9, 8 get to round 1. It's almost none. Can we please give Rangnick credit for Sancho? I think that's fine. I think you got to give him credit for quite a lot of things. He's tightened us up. He's creating more chances with us. We're becoming harder to beat. We're just not quite firing on all cylinders just yet. And I think that is ultimately the issue with it. Yeah, in terms of where we're playing next week, I'm hopeful it's Droylsden, but it's not confirmed yet. What's everyone saying? It's on Patreon. What we're talking about is that the rundown this weekend. There is a rundown on Saturday night. Do you get paid if you reach the FA Cup? I think you get a couple of £100 if you get into the. I think there's win bonuses for every round that you can win in the FA Cup. Yeah, it starts off at next to nothing and then it gets mental. Brian, if I win the league, will I take Ronaldo salmon fishing? Yes. Yes, we will do. If you're interested in seeing what we're going to get up to, we're going to get absolutely twisted on Saturday night, and you want to support the channel, we have got the Pole Sleuths, and they're playing against Ethan, who is the Paddock FC commentator, and Dave, with me and Janine hosting, and that is going to be on Saturday night, 9 PM. It's Patreon exclusive. You won't see it anywhere else. It's bonkers. And it's well worth checking out. Let me just see any more of these that I've missed, because I think I've missed a couple more. Janine was getting them. One current player, says Brian, that I would put into the Cup winners team. None of them. Ronaldo, maybe. Roy Keane, I'm not sure it's the real Roy Keane, says, I get binned off the club for telling the truth, and we have these lot that don't get accounted for the leaks. Give me a break. It's definitely something Roy Keane would say. Do I talk to Berbatov? I haven't spoken to Dimmy in a long time. Not since summer, when we had him on the channel, actually. Has running Stretford Paddock been profitable for me? Fucking mad. No, it cost me money. No, this team cost me money to do. Literally. And I'm talking a fucking lot of money and all. Ulster says, we'll see United's true progress when we play City and Liverpool. Can't say us beating them, but expecting a big improvement. I would agree on that one, to be honest, as well. Nenad says, Galbraith is the best young midfielder United has. Interesting. Stephen McGuinness is still commenting that Declan Rice is a turncoat. Mate, go and have a beer. What happens at left back and right back when Brandon comes back? Do any of our fullbacks have sell-on value? Probably not, in all honesty, but I wouldn't mind seeing Laird come back into the mix. Are we on Football Manager? Yes, there's a lad that put us on last season's Football Manager, if you want to go and check that out. The Paddock are a bit of a joke on, in a good way, on Footy Manager, because some of the players that we've got have got like crazy good reputations. Basically, 2/3 of my forward line are now playing in the conference from last season. So, you know, you put them into a level, what was last season, level 14 team, and yeah, it gets a bit funky. Do I think there's something with the fact that the Glazers NFL team won the Super Bowl last year and Kroenkes won it this year, yet both United and Arsenal are shite? Yeah, because I think that they're probably trying to run them the same way, but there's collective earnings in the NFL. There's no relegation. There is no equivalency to getting into the Champions League for what it does to profit. So it can't be compared. It's like saying you run a kebab shop so you can run a football team. There's no comparison. There's no correlations whatsoever. Rod Keane says, what are my realistic expectations for Paddock? We will be introducing fan ownership scheme, fan membership scheme, where you can have a say in running of the club immediately. We've just got to sort the legalities out of that. And I expect us to get into the lower end of non-league football and probably hover around there. It's not necessarily about what happens with the first team. This is what we're doing at the moment, because this is how you have to build a club. You have to build the first team first. But as soon as we've done that, the focus is going to switch to creating a women's and girls team, and being a very good reputationally women's and girls team, and then coming for the same sort of reputation that the likes of Fletcher Moss have got, by creating good young players. We want to sort of have a bit of an impact at grassroots coaching in and around Manchester. How many seasons until we reach the FA Cup? Isn't the second season of the pyramid? Yeah, so it's 3-4 years. Arteta dropped Aubameyang and it was a tough decision, but it worked out. We should drop Maguire. I think it was a little bit worse for him, but yes, I think that's the one. Tyler says salary cap as well in the NFL, an amount of money that they have to spend. Yeah. KCV Music says, do the great Glazers realise that doing well equals profit? No. How long do I think before the women's team is implemented? I've had a couple of DMs from people that I thought were going to lead to something and haven't. Honestly, I thought there would be more women's teams in financial trouble or recruitment trouble, and I thought we could help them with that. I'm actively looking, so if anyone sees any, anyone hears of any, please point them in my direction. We're looking to take on and help support. I would ideally like, because of how hard facilities are, I would like to take over an existing team, lock, stock and barrel, and give them all their kit for next season, being a Paddock kit. I'm actively looking for that now, so if anyone knows a women's or girls team, if it's under 18s, under 21s, whatever, that we could take over as a team, I'll absolutely be doing that. Are we the new Liverpool? Are we ever going to win the league again? We will, but it might be for a minute. Julio says, Steve, hope you're doing good. For tactics nerds who really want to learn more, do you have a reading list of books I'd recommend? No, but do you know what? I get asked that so often. I'll try and start putting something together for it. Boyder one says, as much as I'm pissed off with this team, honestly, just make a documentary about us now rather than watch the football. That's sad, isn't it? Hey, we've got some belting documentaries coming out though, haven't we? So there is that. Joe says, after the Brighton game, am I more confident for Atletico or the same? The same. I really hope we give Laird a chance next season, says Seamus. Don't touch the books. I'm not touching the books. The books are literally... I'm on a fucking MacBook Pro, so everything's USB-C, which means you have to have 900 adapters to get all of this shit in to make it work, and it's so fucking volatile. I'm not touching the books. Speaking of documentaries, as I watched the new Kanye one. No. When's the Robo documentary out? It's already out. Thinking about buying the Football and Gangsters book. Is it worth it? Which one's that? Is that the one with the Gerrard and Rooney stories in? If it is, it's a good book. Have I watched the Cup Winners' Cup 91 final this week yet? No, I haven't. Simeone's going to shithouse the 1-0 aggregate win against United because of Maguire own goal. The way that they're playing at the moment, and there's a video coming out on that in the morning, that won't be the case. I don't think they'll be keeping a clean sheet. Have I seen Cristiano Ronaldo Jr. calling United shit? Yeah. Oh, he's going to have some fucking questions to answer, isn't he? Santa Notch says, we will win the league again in 18 years. It's already on 8. It's happened before. I lived through it. Don't worry, it's not that long. Yeah. It is what it is, isn't it? It's one of those. Need to sign Anthony from Ajax to replace Greenwood. He's mint. I'm not sure, to be honest. Do I own any other player jersey except for Rashford's? Yeah, I've got fucking loads. It just so happens this was one that was at my house, and the one that's in my office is the one that you can see. There's loads of signed shirts all over the office. They're just not all visible in shot. Phil Jones has played better in the one game this season than Maguire has played in his career at United. I think that's probably a bit of a stretch, to be honest. Alex says, to be fair, Ronaldo Jr. was kind of caught out a little bit, still trying to learn English. That's definitely the excuse I'm playing out as well. Where do I think De Gea ranks for Premier League or United all time? Not that high, to be honest. Do the protests seem to have had some effect? I don't know about that no more. What's the most starstruck I've been? It's Cantona, I think. Yeah, it's Cantona. There's not many people I get giddy for, you know. What's the chances of getting a ticket in the ballot? I have no idea. Honestly, like, there's a lot of you that will always message me about tickets and stuff like that. I've had a season ticket for like more of my life than I've not had a season ticket. I am not the person to ask for where to get tickets because I've just had one. So I don't know where to get tickets. I have no fucking idea. Who's the most famous person in my phone besides Rio? I've got some fucking bonkers names in my phone. They're all football though. I don't know anyone famous outside football, I don't think. I had Messi's number, and that's true. There was a football agent. Here's the truth, right? Here's what happened. An Argentinian footballer added an agent that I know, and I'm not saying who either of those are, but it was an Argentinian that played for United, added everyone in his phone book to one WhatsApp group just to say Merry Christmas to them. That's the truth, right? And he goes, the fucking hell's he doing here? And then as he looks into the group, he goes all the way through it and he's just looking at like the numbers and the names that are associated to him. And he just went on an absolute farming thing, pulling out names, pulling out numbers, and saving them like you would, because a football agent, you rely on your contacts, don't you? So he was telling me, and I was like, "Fucking give us one." And he went, "Who do you want?" And he read off a load of names, and I said, "Give us Messi." And I think we text him on a live stream, or we tried to ring him, and he didn't answer, obviously. And then I sent him something in Spanish, because I spoke to someone who speaks Spanish and said, what should I send him that's going to get him to reply? And I think we sent him something like, this is my new number, in Spanish. This is my new number, mate. Something along those lines, in Spanish, on WhatsApp. And he replied saying, who's this? And then I tried to FaceTime him, and he pied me, and then he fucking, and then he blocked me. Because that's, for me, the most, like, if anyone texts you that you don't know and just goes, this is my new number, you're probably going to reply saying, who, aren't you? Who was the most famous rugby player I played with? I didn't play with him. I trained with Martin Offiah, who's like fucking training with Pele, and he absolutely knocked the fuck out of me. Any updates on the international rundowns? Are we hitting Ireland? We have no idea at the moment. It's just too busy. Like, at the moment, we're just swimming through trying to get all the green and gold stuff out. Jed says, I'm surprised Rio hasn't given you Ronnie's number. Can you imagine? Like, he's been texting Ronnie, and he sent us screenshots of, like, things he said to Ronnie. And he sent us, when he was in hospital, when he did his back a couple of months ago, he'd said Fergie had FaceTimed him, and he had a screenshot of Fergie FaceTiming him. And as you can imagine, Fergie, it's not like well framed in the FaceTime. It's like everyone's granddad would be, and it's like the top of his fucking head. And I just thought that was fucking quality. But like, he's, you know, he seems to text Fergie quite a lot and all the rest of that sort of stuff. How did the meeting with Puma go? Very good. So we are looking at next season's kit. I'll let you in a little secret. It's going to be red. Very happy with the next season's kit. Very happy with what next season's training kit's going to look like. Yeah. Why do I think Fergie likes Poch? Don't know. Andrew says, I can imagine Ronaldo's the most boring bastard in the world. Unseasoned chicken, and recovery is his day off. There's probably a lot of truth to that. I straddle the line of, I want my footballers to be absolute George Best wreckheads and interesting, a bit like Jack Grealish. On the other hand, I kind of want them to be the best that they could ever be. But do you like the naughty kid theory? I think there's something in naughty kids makes good footballers, because that freedom of expression and cheekiness, I think, carries them into something. Greg in the comments says, kit is shite, centre badge all the way. We're not having a centre badge. Mark says, you've mentioned big problems with welfare, professionalism at United. Is it the case that in the youth system too, or is it entirely different entity? Nick Cox and Cochrane seem to do very competent. I haven't heard as much with the youth. Ollie says, next time Rio leaves his phone on the side, add yourselves to the Champions League winners WhatsApp group. Do you know, I know which group it is. It's called Band of Brothers, which I like. And that, to me, if nothing else, epitomizes what made that team different to this team. Apart from the fact they won the fucking lot, they see themselves, that era of Manchester United sees themselves as a band of brothers. And if I could, what do you reckon it's called in this current team WhatsApp group? Bunch of cunts. Them lot. G. Kernrow says, Martin Offiah had serious wheels. He was also a fucking serious monster of a player, and he hurt. Band of bitches, says Andrew. Well played. United first team 21-22. Sadly, that's what Paddocks is called. Unimaginative as fuck, sorry. Yeah, I apologise. That's literally what the Paddock first team chat's called. Am I going to watch Calm versus Brook? We're probably going to be out of our fucking mind on rum at that time. Colin says, I like how Ronaldo talks to them, never puts himself above the lads who got him there. That's true, yeah. How do I feel about Hassan Hootel being linked with United? Prefer him over fucking Poch. Mark Sabon, leaky shits. Who do I want to win, Khan or Brook? I don't care. I don't really prefer either of them. Any Paddock games in London, says Court Star. Nothing planned. Just trying to get our season finished at the moment. Hopefully with a couple of trophies in the bag. And then we'll see what happens. The WhatsApp group has Maguire and Dean Henderson and a bunch of journos. Ooh, Saul. Do you think they'll actually sort the dressing room shit? They will eventually. John Blacksmith says we aren't that good, and unfortunately this lot think they're that good. Get rid of that lot and start again. That's the one. I think that's the top and bottom of it, in all honesty. That is the top and bottom of it, is that there's too many that think that United was the prize and not the opportunity. Manchester United is the opportunity for greatness. And the players that treat Manchester United as the opportunity for greatness are the ones who do bits. Does my team make money as a grassroots football team? No. Like, I don't know anyone would fucking assume it does. It's so expensive to run a football team. It's bonkers. What's my plan if we take Ronaldo to the aquarium? For those who didn't watch XG Files, I'm not going on a date with Cristiano to look at fish. Ronaldo Brown just blurted out he's never been to an aquarium in the middle of XG Files. What's my plan to take Ronaldo to the aquarium and it's too much for him? What if it just brings him to tears or some shit? I'm just going to film him. Just film him and exploit it for views. Most of these players think fourth place and getting to hear the Champions League music a few months is a trophy. You're probably right. Have I ever had a... Oh... Hey Googler, this might be off topic, but have I ever had a bad boss and how did I deal with it? Have you seen SAS Who Dares Wins? There's a character on SAS Who Dares Wins, and I wasn't in SAS for kind of obvious reasons. I don't know if it's obvious, but I wasn't in the SAS. I don't know if I need to say that, but I wasn't. But my old boss is on there as one of the instructors. And he was a City fan. And I don't know if it's as obvious I was a United fan then as I am now. I mean, I was a United fan. And I was as fucking gobby as I am now, if not gobbier. But he... I don't know if he was a bad boss or a bad connection with me, personally. He wasn't well liked by a lot of the lads. But I don't know if that was just... I'm trying to think about what I'm trying to say here. He was a serious disciplinarian and not much fun. And obviously, yeah, Captain Sobel vibes. Yeah, a little bit Captain Sobel vibes, yeah. But I think he was better in the field than Captain Sobel was. For anyone who's watched Band of Brothers, that's that reference. But yeah, he was a City fan. And he was difficult. I wouldn't have said he was a bad boss. I did have a section commander who was a fucking prick who wanted to fight everyone all the time. And that's not a good move. I remember... I mean, you know, without fucking... With being what it is, in Afghanistan there were some rough days. And a particularly rough day, we got off the back of a fucking Land Rover, and he just pulls me aside, he's like, do you want a fucking fight or what? And you're like, where's this come from? Like, what the fuck, man? And yeah, again, he was the one that's on SAS Who's Theirs Wins. I could see that there was method in his discipline the other one, my section commander, was just a fucking prick. Top and bottom of it. And he was a United fan from round here. Band Brothers is so good. Band Brothers is fucking sensational telly. Which so-called players should have minimum requirement is maximum effort. Oh, a lot of them. Oh, by the way, did I fight him? No, I didn't. He was fucking massive. I think he was pretty hard and all. We have got on Monday a guest that you lot are going to piss your pants at. It's not a Ballon d'Or winner. But it's someone I might have said a lot of shit about. And he is coming on 5 on Monday. And it's going to be fucking must watch telly. I'll tell you if someone gets it. He is a player that is currently playing football. Someone's got it. Someone else has got it. Someone else has got it. Oh, this gonna be good. Oh, it's gonna be fucking hilarious on Monday. We shall see what this brings out, won't it? Jed says, am I going to be honest, though? A fucking 100% am I going to be honest. 100%. Did I ask him about... I'm not going to read it out because that will give it away. But he is well aware of what I've said of him, to the point where he stopped me working with United for something. So I know he's aware. Now we just need to find out if he's all right having a discussion about it. Because all I'm going to say is, listen, criticised you, and I stand by it. But I only ever talk about performances. I'm not a troll. I don't talk about your personal life. I've never been disrespectful about your missus or yourself or anything like that. But yeah, does Rio know about it? Yes, he does. It's not hate either. It's not hate. It's criticism. It's valid criticism. Interesting. Don't miss that shit on Monday because that's going to be fucking sensational. Whose idea was it? I believe it was his idea. The individual's idea. Steve, have I ever met any Ruperts who were sound as fuck? Yes. Oh my God. Brigadier Ed Butler, who was, I had breakfast with him. I mean, not like it was a date or anything. I had breakfast with him in Camp Bastion. They just kind of like come around and have a fucking sit and a chat with you. And for me, I was like, he should be James Bond. He should be the new James Bond. He was fucking double sound. But I think he was a brigadier, obviously. He was commander of 16 Air Assault Brigade, 2006, Herrick 4. And he, I think he was an SAS commander. Let me just have a fucking look. I think he might have resigned following. Resigned in 2008. Yeah, he commanded SAS. It was in Sierra Leone, Bosnia, Northern Ireland. Yeah, he was pretty gangster, to be fair to him. Moon Knight says, if a player can't handle criticism, you're in the wrong game, because when you paid that amount of money, you have to see why people will slate your play. Listen, the point is, Manchester United captains, and it's very pertinent to what's going on today, Manchester United captains should be able to accept criticism. Have I ever been to Wilmslow Road? Of course I have. Jeremy says, if it's the individualized idea, clearly good, talking about it should be a good show. I think it's going to be sensational, isn't it? I'm sure Joel will bring it up even if I don't. We're definitely going to have to talk about it early doors, because otherwise it's just weird, isn't it? Which manager in history do I think would get a tune out of this team? David Copperfield. Was he a manager? Some people in the comments saying there's no way a player that's currently at the club would come on. It's not true. And some of the people that people have been mentioning have actually been in touch about coming on. There's 3. There's 4 current United players. 5 current United players. I'm just trying to fucking think. No, there's not. There's 6. There's 6 current United first team players that have been in touch about coming on. And yeah, Donny van de Beek's already been on. Listen, I'm not telling you who it is. It's not my place to tell you who it is. My place is to say tune in on Monday and you will not be disappointed. But yeah, there's 6 current Manchester United players that I'm aware of that have been in touch about coming on. And when we did our little show at United, when me and Rio filmed at the pitch side, they spoke. I think they've got the club's blessing to do it, so they spoke about where we could film with one of them. And the plan was, well, one of them was to film in the Stretford end. So, yeah, we will see how and when all of those come about. Andrew says the only good thing is, the only bad thing is you'll never get anything good out of a current player. Not true. A lot. When we had Donny on, obviously Donny was a bit guarded and didn't say a hell of a lot. Some of the other current players that we've on, I've been pretty disappointed with how the interviews went. But some of them have said some stuff and you go, should you have said that? We had one that we couldn't put out. We did it. It was fucking amazing, and then we couldn't put it out. So there are some good conversations to be had. Definitely some good conversations to be had, and there's definitely some amazing podcasts that we're going out. There are 2 foreign trips that we've got to make to get podcasts done. And we will do that when we get the opportunity. 2 massive players. So we'd check that one out. But yeah. Jed says we need the vibes to be live so the United PR guys can't ask not to broadcast. I don't think United have had an issue with those, to be honest. I don't think United have been the problem. I think it's agencies that are more of a problem. Sam says, I think Ruud van Nistelrooy is the best guest on Vibe so far. I was very excited about Shearer and Lineker, even though they're not United players. I think one of the coolest people that we've had on, genuinely, was Joleon Lescott. Joleon Lescott was sensational. And actually, Mike Phelan, we literally had United's assistant manager on in the summer, and Mike couldn't have been cooler. He come and I went and met him in town, and it was the day of the European final that we filmed it. We didn't put it out for about a month after that, but we filmed it the same day as the Euros final. So it's like where our office is, we're in northern quarter of Manchester. It's just fucking bar central, isn't it? And we were walking through town, and there was sort of people kind of letting on. And then as Mike Phelan's looked up, they've gone like, oh, fucking hell, get Mike Phelan. But Mike came, we did the podcast, and then he hung around for about an hour afterwards, had a beer, and was fucking really cool. Really fucking cool. Any chance of getting Rio on the brew? Yeah, it's just we do it in person. We're not going to have anyone call up for it. I mean, Rio's also the busiest guy in the world, man. Notch says, I'd love Veron to come on 5. Veron would be brilliant. And I think him and Rio get on. He's not one that we've been in touch with as far as I'm aware, but yeah. Any chance we can get RVP on? Yeah, I think RVP's one that's been in the works, but I'm not sure what's happened with it. Is he now coaching, I think, at Feyenoord? That might have been one of them. The way Howson and company was, that was funny. I gotta give a bit of ribbing on that. I mean, Company was cool, to be honest, and Company is a player I can genuinely respect. I heard a lot of good stuff about him. So, I did enjoy. He's a sick guy. Company. He might have been captain of our rivals for a long time, but that's one of them. RVP's assistant at Feyenoord. There you go. Yeah. Do I think we will get Fergie? I think we should try for like our million episode, wouldn't it? I think it's doable. I just think it's a timing thing. Beckham, as fun as Beckham would be, I don't think you get an opinion out of him, to be honest. And if I get the opportunity, I'm definitely doing it. But I'm not sure I've ever heard Beckham give a real opinion on anything in depth. So I think I'd have to do a lot of research to try and figure out exactly what to ask Beckham to get him to start talking. Because I think if you ask him about a player, they're great. And if you ask him about a person, they were amazing and inspirational. But I don't know if that's the real interest. Jed says you have to pay Bex to come on. I don't think so. No one pays to come on anything. But it's about when can they come on. Yapstam would be sick. Is he still coaching now or has he finished anywhere? Why hasn't Vidic been on? Because we want to do Vidic in person. And Vidic, Rio and Vidic still talk, yeah, as far as I'm aware. What's my favourite Champions League memory? Rooney's goal against AC Milan. If Rio asked me to do what I do on Paddock for 5 and give up Paddock, would I do it? But I don't need to. I wouldn't need to. Quinton Fortune on Vibe 5. Quinton's sick, What's Vidic up to now? I believe he lives in Milan, so I think we're waiting for when he's in Manchester for getting him on. What about someone like Makeda? The fan channels had Makeda on. Herrera would be very interesting, actually. What's it like getting to have this opportunity to meet different footballers? It's awesome. And in all honesty, it's I probably take it a little bit for granted at times. Because it is nuts. It's genuinely nuts, isn't it? And I mean, there's some that we're about to do that are probably going to blow my mind a little bit. Imagine being sat with the best Premier League centre-back partnership ever. Well, if we do Stam and we do Vidic, I think we've probably got 3 of the best 4. Hoddle's a serious pod. I enjoyed Hoddle. I think Hoddle's a really interesting guy, man. And probably a real misunderstood guy as well, I think. Pinch says, I love your chats with Mullenstein. I actually text Rene fucking way more than I should do. And he's chilling enough not to tell me to fuck off and leave him alone. I fucking love Rene. Herrera left because he didn't think football was a priority at United. Correct. With every, you definitely get answers and content. Yeah, I think Paddy's someone that's potentially lined up for an in-person one. That's partially why we've done the studio down in London. So I know that confused a lot of people. It's literally, the background's literally a carbon copy. It's actually a different shape, but you can't see that on camera. It looks exactly the same. But that's why we've got another studio down in London. It's the exact same. Could we get Rooney on? That would be amazing, says Ryan. I think he's got enough on his plate. I don't know. I don't know if that'd be something that they might want to try as the season ends. But I would say, he's got a focus on his football at the moment, hasn't he? Chicharito might be a good one. Yeah, Chicharito would be a good one. Is he in America at the moment? Jeremy, I'd absolutely love to see Michael Carrick. I think Carrick was asked, and I think he's just taking a bit of a break. But yeah, I agree. Michael Carrick's had a sensational career. Chicharito's at Galaxy still. See, I didn't even know that. Welbeck would be interesting. I think Welbeck's one that watches the channel, actually, from what I can gather. There's quite a few that I know watch the channel, that he said. I've not asked him yet about who's hit his inbox, but there was we got pied today by a player. We did get pied by a player. I think Rio's actually going away soon to do some interviewing, so he might not be on it for a week or two, but we'll see. Louis Saha, I think that'd be good. Ed says Barthez would be mint. He's a race car driver. I know he did that. I don't know if he's still doing that. No, it wasn't Luke Shaw that pied us. No, there was a player that doesn't and hasn't ever played for United pied us today. Have we ever been asked to do any BT stuff because of Rio? No. No. I don't know what I was aiming for. It's just no. Cleverly would be good. I think Cleverly might be an interesting story, actually, to be fair. Jason Park would be elite. Do you reckon? Tevez would be a mad one. I'm not sure what Tevez's English is like. But I know, as a United fan, I'm not really asked about Tevez. But I think Rio quite likes him. Obviously, he's had a relationship with him, hasn't he? Playing with him. As a United fan, you went to City and act the way you do. I think Jez just said, how strong is Joe? Fucker's absolutely flying on his deadlifts at the minute. He's pissing me off. Like, I've had a pulled calf all week. I haven't been at the gym, and I'm getting fucked off with it. And he's coming in with PRs every day, pissing me right off. Cristiano Ronaldo on 5. Can you imagine how hard that'd be? Well, we've just found out that he can't fucking sit down for 30 minutes. So he's not going to be any good on a podcast, is it? Like, why is he stood up? Why is he doing burpees? Oh, what's he doing? Blomqvist, Sheringham. There's tons of sensational people that we could get on. Wes Brown. We had Wes Brown on for a watch along for the Euros final, actually. That was weird. What was well surreal is the street in Northern Quarter. You've probably seen loads of videos from Northern Quarter for what it looked like. And it was just wall-to-wall people. There was thousands of people in the streets. And I think they just filled up with people. It was absolutely rammed with people. And that was before kickoff, and it was the same after kickoff. And I went outside to go meet Wes Brown as he was coming in. And I just seen him. He's wearing a bright fucking orange hoodie, and he just comes fucking like the most casual fucking guy in the world. It's going off all around him. Have I got many England kits? I got fucking none, mate. It's going off all around him, and Wes Brown's just fucking casually just mooching around with his fucking hood up, just chilling. Fucking, he's the chillest guy out there, Wes Brown. I think he's the most unflappable man I've ever met. How come Ben Foster's not done anything? I don't know, actually. I think they might have been in touch, but I can't be sure on that. I think that I remember seeing something about him, but I can't remember what it was now. Wes Brown was catching a bus for United. He got out of a car. I think he got a taxi here. But because of the Euros, they'd closed off like our street. There was like police cars right across our street, so you had to walk everywhere and that. Righty, I'm going to wrap it up for the evening. Thank you once again, everyone who's tuned in. If you want to support the channel, and then go and check out some extra content that you're going to be getting on Saturday night to come and get in the mix. We're going to be looking into a way for the quiz to be able to be played at home with you guys as well. Might not be ready for this week, but it might be something we have for next month. So definitely look out for that. But if you want to support the channel, get in the link in the description for Patreon. Come and check it out. It's about the price of a pint a month. So if you'd like to buy us a pint for all of the free content that you got on YouTube, you get some extra content and some behind the scenes stuff and some utter fucking mayhem like it will be on Saturday night, then check the link in the description below. Come get in the mixer. And we're trying to get it to over 1,000. So if you can get it over 1,000, we can start looking at maybe putting on some live shows in some other places. It's less expensive than a pint in Ireland. Well, there you go. Greg Westwood says, "Read my text, dickhead." No, I'm not going there tomorrow. I'm going into the office. So shut up. Stop mithering me. And then that's that. Cheers for tuning in, as usual. And I think there's something about Atletico coming out tomorrow, and I guess it'd be Leeds is Sunday, and it's sort of preview won't be tomorrow. There's 2 videos tomorrow, so keep an eye out for both of those, and we'll see you in a bit.